Before the break, this is a great question. I asked a question. Which side has benefited from the most VAR decisions in the Premier League this year? Both sides are 6 points better off from VAR
I'm going to
decisions.
go Brentford.
So, why do you pretend?
I promise you, I haven't looked.
You don't know what guesses
The reason I said
Brentford.
Brentford, because they're the only ones I could think of straight away that benefit from something.
Whatever.
And the other one, 6 points better off.
Yeah.
Palace.
Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool are only 6 points better off than last year.
No. They're better off because of VAR decisions that have gone their way.
Liverpool.
You understand that?
I want to get that.
Should we stay with Liverpool? Yes, we shall. Liverpool, of course, kept their top four hopes alive last night after beating Leicester 3-0, partly thanks to the performance of Trent, Alexander-Arnold and, of course, Curtis Jones. Liverpool legend Danny Murphy has told talkSPORT he still doesn't think Gareth Southgate would trust Trent Alexander-Arnold in the middle of midfield against top sides.
He generally likes legs. When you think of Declan Rice, you think of Jude Bellingham. Mm-hmm. You think of whoever he's played Mason in there. The majority of England games they dominate the ball comfortably. So he could play in there now against them, 75% of the opposition England play against. The problem you've got is when you play against France, when you play against Argentina and Brazil, I don't think Gareth would trust him defensively to play central midfield.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do a little bit. And I've said it before, you look at a lot of people when they speak about certain players playing really well for England, well, 75% of the time they're playing against teams that they should absolutely batter.
Yeah.
And listen, he's playing from a fullback, that inverted fullback role. I don't think Gareth would trust him playing that role because I don't think Gareth particularly wants to play that way. And also, when you look at playing at right back, a lot of teams' best players, or most dangerous attacking players, are on that left-hand side, which would make them be 1v1. And Gareth doesn't trust him in that type of situation either. So it's quite a dilemma for Trent to be in because, listen, there's no doubt in the ability that he's got, the range of passing. I mean, his free kick last night was exceptional. Absolutely incredible.
But we've seen that a lot from him.
Yeah, so we know he's got that part of the game, but to actually just stick him in the middle of the park, I wouldn't do that. Instead
of who as well?
Exactly. Because the two that
Declan?
Yep. Bellingham.
Jude?
Maddison?
Yeah. Or Phillips? Or Henderson?
Yes, creative Maddison. Maddison's the one who plays in there.
I agree.
But for Trent, I just think Gareth doesn't want inverted fullbacks. I don't think that's not the way he wants to play.
So how does he get into the England team?
I think he has to bide his time. Because I think you look at fullbacks, again, Kyle Walker's ahead of him.
Yeah.
Reece James is out. So I think maybe Trent is now number 2. But I think if you play a 3, Kyle Walker moves into one of the 3 at the back, and then he plays at wing back. Trent, maybe not the worst thing because he's got Kyle Walker behind him that can cover him.
Yeah.
But it seems such a waste when you've got a talent who's this good to just not play him. I don't understand how that's possible.
Talking of talent, how impressive have you been with Curtis Jones? I think it was his 8th, is it? I wrote it down somewhere, I can't find it. 8th game of the season, is that right? Start, yeah.
Yeah, good, 2 good goals. The second goal, touch, whap. Absolute.
I love your sound effects.
Great finish. But he's always had good technique, Curtis Jones, always a good player. I still think they need to strengthen. I know I heard some people saying, well, do they really need to buy a midfield player because they've got... No, they still need to go and get a big one in there.
Why? Because... he's too young because maybe it's too early for him?
It's not that it's too early for him, but you still need another one in there established. You look at that Liverpool midfield compared to other midfield, like Arsenal being linked to Caicedo and Declan Rice.
Yeah.
With Odegaard, look at that 3. Do you know what I mean? Compared to Liverpool's at the minute. And they've had...
if they buy another midfielder, Liverpool, let's say they spend 50, 60, 70 million on them, does that new midfield... I know you're going to say it depends who it is, but if you're spending 60, 70 million pounds, it's going to be a good player. Does that new player start ahead of Jones or not?
Again, it depends who it is.
I know, but if let's just say it's
70 million and he looks like he's ready to go, then yeah, of course.
But let's say it was Mason Mount, right? They spend 60, 70 million.
Yeah, they'd probably start Mason Mount over Curtis Jones.
Okay.
I'd say so. But just because Mason Mount has played in the Premier League, has been successful in the Premier League, won some big trophies, by the way, Champions Leagues and things like that. I think, has Curtis Jones won Champions League, right? Was he in the squad?
Yes,
yeah. So, but I think Mason Mount would probably start ahead of him. But Curtis Jones is showing signs that he is ready to be one of their mainstays in the middle of the park.
How important do you think it is to have these sort of local homegrown talents in your squad?
Yeah. Do you know what it is? I always feel like if you're a manager, it buys you a bit of time as well. Because...
Go on.
I think there's nothing better, and I can remember when I came through Ipswich, although I wasn't from the area, me coming out of the academy and getting into the first team, the fans will give me a little bit more time because I'm seen as one of their own. I've come through their pathway. Rather than them spending money on someone, I've come through their academy, so I'm effectively one of them. So when you look at like youngsters at your club coming through, like the Sackers, Smith Rose at Arsenal, these guys, Manchester United used to have a habit of these youngsters, they'll always get more time because they're seen as one of their own. And if a new manager comes in and tries to integrate some of these youngsters that have come through their academies, fans love to see them.
But I agree with you. But go on, sorry.
Because they can identify themselves with that young kid.
But doesn't it sometimes go against that player, like Mason Mount? Some people will go, well, he's only getting in the team because he's a young kid and the manager fancies him.
No, but listen, again, people...
I'm not saying he's homegrown, by the way. I'm just saying the age...
I know he's from Portsmouth, but he came through at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, then you'll, on the flip side, it'll get Chelsea fans going, well, no, we want him to stay. Like, there'll be some that say, yeah, his time's up at Chelsea, but you'd have some that are saying, no, like, we need to keep him because he's a good player and he has been a good player. But he just maybe lost his way a little bit. But Chelsea fans will absolutely love Mason Mount. They'll take more pleasure out of Mason Mount playing really well and doing well than them buying someone for 60-70 million and him doing the same job.
Do you think you have more chance? Who's his name escapes me. I can see a picture of his face. Who's the fullback played for Man United, went on loan at Norwich? Do you remember? Brandon Williams, thank you. Do you think I really liked him. I only saw glimpses of him. I saw him live a couple of times. I only saw glimpses of him. But I liked him and he looked to me like a Manchester United player. Do you think a player like that is more likely to get a run in the team than someone that isn't homegrown just because of where they're from? If they both had the same ability but weren't necessarily doing it, is the homegrown player likely to get more first-team opportunities? I mean, it shouldn't, right? It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. But again, it depends on the manager. And for whatever reason, sometimes we're a bit fixated on foreign players being better than English players. Like, we have to pay a premium. I know English players you have to pay a premium on, but I just think from a fan's perspective, I think fans would love to see one of their own get an opportunity rather than buying someone. If they're up to a certain level, I think they'd take more pleasure out of Brandon Williams playing well for Manchester United than them buying someone and him doing the same job.
Just quickly staying with Liverpool. So, I mean, it's hotting up now. Third place Newcastle, 66 games, 3 games left. Fourth place Man United, 66 points, 3 games left. Fifth place Liverpool, 2 games left, 65 points.
They're coming. Liverpool. All it takes is one of you to draw a game and they've got you.
Yeah. That's right.
They've got
United got 2 home games and 1 away game. Newcastle got tough. I mean, they're all tough at this stage of the season, right?
Yeah.
Liverpool's next game is at home to Aston Villa, is that right?
I know it's a
tough game.
It is, but they're at home and they're very strong at home.
Villa look really good and they're pushing for European football as well.
Newcastle got Brighton. You still got to play Chelsea. I think they've still got to play Chelsea.
I'm happy to play Chelsea now.
Yeah?
Yeah, we should beat them anyway. And Frank's bringing in the young kids. He's swapping goalkeepers. He's not really giving a monkeys about.
Yeah, I hear that. But I just think that if you guys drop any kind of points, Liverpool, they're ready to strike.
Give me 1, 2, 3 and 4.
Well, 1 and 2 are the same as they are.
Man City, Arsenal.
3, United. 4, Liverpool.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Let me just look at the crash. Anyone think Newcastle won't get top 4? Anyone think they won't get it? Producer Joe.
Do you know what? It's that Brighton result. It's Brighton that I think that's the one.
Yeah. Ryan, you're a Liverpool fan. You think you get top 4? You don't. I agree with you, Benny. I think it's going to be City, Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool. That'd be... we talk about... I know we're pushed for time, just quickly. We talk about Arsenal's season will be a failure. It's a question if they get second, right? And a lot of Arsenal fans will be, well, what are you talking about? Second is amazing. Newcastle finished 5th. Unbelievable, 5th, but they've been Champions League. A bit like Leicester did for so long. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but Newcastle, again, and this is my point, Newcastle wouldn't have failed if
No,
they
but that's
5th.
my question.
No.
But what, the whole season?
No.
I think they would.
That's not failure for Newcastle.
No. But from where they are, Newcastle finish outside the top 4 now, they'll be devastated.
They'll be devastated, but it's not failure. It's still a very good season.
Do they need Champions League football, Newcastle, to move on from where they are? To attract, they need to get to that next level.
I almost feel like they're ahead of schedule anyway, Newcastle. I don't think they thought they would be in Champions League this year. So I think they're way ahead of schedule. So if they then go and get in the Champions League, then they're further forward and they'll be able to attract better players.
Okay. We could talk like that.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.